Hey y'all, my name is Ashley and I am the Teen Services Librarian at the Greenwell Springs Library in EBR Parish. And I am here again to give you a few middle grade book recommendations. Okay, so the first book I'm going to tell you about is called City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. And it follows Cassidy Blake, who fell into a river about a year ago and almost drowned. But just as things were starting to go black for her, Jacob pulled her out of the river and saved her. And Jacob is a ghost. When Cassidy almost drowned, she came back with some new powers. And now she can not only see ghosts, she can also cross over into their world. She calls it the veil. And it's like she pulls a curtain back between our world and theirs. And if a ghost is near her, she can sense them. So, naturally, in this story, her parents are ghost hunters, though I must say, not very good ones. They do not know that their own daughter can see ghosts. But they have just gotten a reality TV show. And they're supposed to be traveling from country to country over the summer, going to the world's most haunted cities. And the first stop on their list is Edinburgh, Scotland, which is known as the City of Ghosts. So, Cassidy is from a really small town. She can sense ghosts, but that doesn't happen a lot. There's not a lot of ghosts to sense. That is not the case in Edinburgh, Scotland. As soon as she gets there, she can feel the veil pressing on her. And when they go to the Greyfriars Cemetery, for the first time ever, the veil actually pulls her in without her choosing to cross over. And when she gets into the veil, she sees this woman in red. And she's a lot brighter than everybody else. She seems more alive somehow. But the really scary thing about her is that this ghost sees Cassidy. And that is not supposed to happen. When you cross over, you're basically reliving your last moments. And it's just you in your own little world. But this ghost sees Cass and she looks hungry. So Jacob ends up pulling her out of the veil just in time, because when this lady starts to sing, Cassidy is like enchanted. She can't move. And all she wants is to get to that lady. So she's bad news. And the first book follows Cass's adventures with her. The second book is called Tunnel of Bones, and it takes place in Paris. And it's largely about the catacombs. But both were really excellent. Highly recommend if you're into ghost stories. All right, so if you are a big fan of Percy Jackson, but you have read and reread the books and are looking for something a little new, check out Aria, Shah and the End of Time. This one follows Aru, who goes to a really fancy private school filled with a whole bunch of snobby rich kids, where she does not fit in. And because Aru does not fit in, she has a tendency to lie a lot. And this gets her into trouble. Eventually, 3 of her classmates show up on the weekend at her house, camera phones in hand, prepared to broadcast the truth to the rest of the class. And Aru figures she's got 2 choices. She can change her name and move to a whole new state and start her life over, or she can show them something impossible. So she decides to show them a cursed lamp. Now, Aru lives in a museum. It's called the Museum of Ancient Indian Art and Culture. And her mother told her to never, ever touch or light this lamp. She didn't tell her why, but Aru figured it probably wouldn't be good. She doesn't really think that this lamp is haunted, but she figures that if she can light it real quick and act like she's been possessed, then her classmates will have something that will maybe make them go away and buy her some time and she will never, ever lie again. So she lights the lamp, and she unleashes a whole lot of bad. There was a demon inside called the Sleeper, and she has woken that sleeper up. And its entire purpose is to awaken Shiva, the Lord of Destruction. So now she has 9 days to find 3 keys that will unlock the celestial weapons that can be used to defeat the Sleeper, or the world will end. So what happens? Follow Aru and find out exactly how much trouble she can get into. This next book is one of my favorite realistic fiction books. It's called Counting by Sevens by Holly Sloan, and it follows Willow Chance, who is a 12-year-old genius. She's also an odd duck. She knows several foreign languages. She has memorized several medical textbooks. She is excellent at growing things and has grown like an actual jungle in her backyard. And she loves to count by sevens, which she says is the luckiest number. And Willow is about to start middle school for the first time. She has never gone to public school before, but her parents want her to be around other kids her age. And it's a rough adjustment for her. She decides to wear her favorite outfit the first day of school. Her favorite outfit is a pair of green gardening coveralls and a bright red sun hat. It is not received well by her peers. She is mistaken for a janitor her first hour there and asked to unclog a toilet. Then her class takes this big standardized test, and she gets a perfect score because she's a genius, and she gets called to the principal's office. Not because she is being congratulated, but because they are convinced that she cheated, and so she's going to have to attend weekly sessions with the school counselor. I feel like most kids would be just done with school at this point, like an emotional wreck, but none of this gets to Willow. What does get to Willow is at one of her sessions, she gets a phone call, and her parents have been in a car accident and they both died. Her parents didn't have extended family. They didn't have close friends that they could send her to. So it looks like she's going to go into the foster care system. But the kids that she's with at this session with the school counselor, they hear what's going on. And the sister, Mai, is just determined that this can't happen to Willow. She feels too bad for her. So she convinces her mom, who has never met this girl in her life, to take Willow in. And if you take a kid in a situation like this, you are assigned a social services person, and they have to make mandatory visits to your house to make sure that you have an appropriate place to put this person in and that you can take care of them. Right now, Mai and her family are living in a garage that is attached to the nail salon that her mom owns. They are not doing super well. But Mai's mom is determined to make this work. And it seems like it would be such a sad story, but just the amazing things that happen and like all of these weird and funny incidents make it a real pleasure to read. It's such a great story. So to see how things turn out for Willow and her new adoptive family, read Counting by Sevens. All right, so this next one is one of my all-time favorite books. It's called So You Want to Be a Wizard by Diane Duane. And I feel like this series should have so much more hype than it does. It's fantastic. I have read this book at least 4 times. I highly recommend it. If you liked Harry Potter, if you liked A Wrinkle in Time, if you like Percy Jackson, I feel like you will like this book. It follows Nita and Kit, and Nita is not well liked by the other girls in her class. She's kind of a smart mouth, and they are constantly beating up on her. Kit is new in school, and he's small for his age, so he's getting teased a lot. And completely separately, they find what they think is a career book until they read the title, and it's So You Want to Be a Wizard. They both think it's a joke at first, but when they open it up and find all of this really dense, complicated information, they think, oh, this could be real. Wouldn't it be amazing if this was real? And it is. It is a book on how to perform a spell and the ethics and the philosophy behind magic and becoming a wizard. But if you're gonna become a wizard, you have to face an ordeal. And it's your first big test in your career. And in this case, it is to save the world. Of course it is. It's always saving the world, isn't it? How many times have middle schoolers saved the world from certain death? In this particular case, the Book of the Moon has been stolen. And that book is the most important book in the universe. Everything is described in the Speech of Magic. And if you read from this book, it makes things exist, kind of. And that book has gone missing. It has been taken by this real evil dude, the guy who invented death. And he has taken it to this weird, dark, topsy-turvy version of New York. And Kit and Nita have to battle all of these wrong versions of things to get it back. Because if they don't, this dark being is going to read from the book that must not be named. And that one has things, but they're skewed in a real dark way. And if he can successfully read from that book, he can remake the world. And it won't be good. So to find out what happens, read So You Want to Be a Wizard. There are, I think, 10 books in this series now, and it is well worth the read. All right, so all of those books are available for download on Overdrive right now. Please go check them out. If you have recommendations for other fantastic middle grade books, please comment below. And I hope that y'all stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.